So guys, before we go into this last section, I want to make sure that everybody has been able to get a piece of yarn. Parents, you'll need one piece for each one of your teens. Did anybody not get a little piece of yarn for your teen?
Anybody got one?
Good. We'll give everybody a chance to come back over this way and we'll wrap up our time together. So we've talked about a lot tonight. We've talked about how God sees sex, how the world sees sex, how together we've got to act as a team to be able to have a culture of purity in our home, to be able to produce a teen of purity, how it takes a pure team to create a pure teen. Ultimately, though, we need to be honest, and that is that we will all fall short. Moms, dads, husbands, and wives, teens, because we are sinners. And that is the ultimate impact of sin in our life, is that it impacts the purity of our walk. And as great as the gift of sex is, what I want to remind you is there's even a greater gift that God has given us, and that's the gift of the redemption of His grace that can cover every failure that we have. So if you've made some mistakes in your walk of purity in the past, whether you were an adult or whether you're a child, you are not condemned by that. You can have God's grace cover whatever failure is a part of your history so that it no longer has to be a part of your future. It's okay for us to feel convicted. The Holy Spirit will lead us to feel convicted, and that's good because that tells us, I don't want to keep going down this path. What you don't want is for conviction to go into condemnation. Because that's when Satan tries to ensnarl you to say, you are a failure, you are condemned, and you will always be condemned, and you will be separated by God because of this failure. And that's not true. God's grace is able to bridge any gap between us and Him. It's able to cover every sin that we have. That's the reason in 1 Corinthians, in chapter 6, verse 18 and 20, it says, you are not your own. You were bought with a price. You were bought with the price of the Son of God, who loved you more than your actions, who knew that you would sin even before He created you, who doesn't walk around behind you going, oh no, what am I going to do now? I can't believe they've made this mess. That one caught me off guard. I didn't see that coming. Your God, who is the Alpha and the Omega, the beginning and the end. The one who knew when He was creating you the sins that you would commit, and before you even committed them, worked out a plan of redemption for you. Because He knows the plans He has for you. They are plans to prosper you, not to harm you. They are plans to give you a hope and a future, regardless of any struggle in your past. So we want to have a time, knowing how much we have been blessed by God, to be able to have a time of passing on a blessing to each other. So here's how we're going to do that. In just a few minutes, parents, I'm going to speak a word of blessing over you, and then I'm going to ask you to lead your children in a few things that you'll repeat after me. And we're going to have you take those pieces of yarn that you have, and as you're going through a process of speaking a blessing over your children, you're going to tie that yarn around their finger as a temporary purity ring, a way of them being able to symbolize that they're going to be committed to a walk in purity, and you're going to be committed to walking that with them.
That's right.
And then we invite you to take a look at your packet of materials, where you'll see a website that's got an incredible collection of purity rings. And you can Google purity ring now, and you'll find all kinds of resources for that. We knew that we were going to be coming this weekend, and this would be a part of our weekend. And when we found out Kristen couldn't come with us, and it was just going to be us and Trevin, we had been waiting for the right time for us to be able to give him his purity ring. And so, knowing that that was kind of the theme of the weekend, last night we took him out to eat for a special dinner. And we had planned on going downtown to take him to eat at a restaurant downtown. And we happened to come around the interstate where he saw P.F. Chang's, his favorite restaurant, at which point he didn't know what we were doing that evening. We just said, this is going to be a very special family date night. And he said, can we please hit P.F. Chang's? I haven't had P.F. Chang's in a long time. So we called an audible. We went and had a great dinner. And we just talked about what we love about our relationships with each other and what we love about our family. We just kind of spoke Philippians 4:8 over our relationships. And then we got in the car and we headed downtown. And we parked alongside the river, and we went down to the river walk, and it was great. Nobody down there, just us and the ducks. And we sat down on one of the park benches down there, and we said, you know, dude, we've watched you mature through the ages, and we've watched you go through some stages in incredible fashion. And you are now at a point where we have no doubt Satan's going to start hitting you with some real temptations. And we know that you are a man of God, and you're committed to a life of purity. And we wanted to give you a chance to be able to make a commitment to that and to symbolize that. And so we pulled out a box, and he started smiling because he knew it was coming because we had done this with the sister. And we took this ring out.
Which says, man of God. It's got that engraved. And then on the other side, it has a scripture reference, 1 Timothy 6:11.
So we began to read that
Yes.
together with our Bible. And we told him, we said, now, before you make any kind of vow, we want to make a vow to you. And so as his dad, I vowed to him to live an example before him, to confess when I mess up, to ask him to walk alongside me and to hold me accountable. And then Deb began to make her vow to him as well.
Yeah, I vowed some things like, hey, Trev, you can talk to me about anything. You can talk to me about the girls that you're dating or about the ones that you think you may. I'll be glad to talk to you and share with you some of the things that I am praying already for your spouse to be. And I will also understand when this whole pursuit of being pure becomes difficult for you. And I'll pray you through those times.
And then we also told him we recognize that he may make a mistake, that he may fail in this pursuit of purity. And that we want him to understand that more than walking alongside him because of his promise, we will walk alongside him because he's our son.
That's right.
Regardless of his mistakes, that we will walk with him in grace. And so that we will be here now at this time of commitment. And if something happens along the way, we will still be there every bit as committed to him. And so then we invited him to say a prayer. And he allowed us just to listen to that prayer as he committed himself to the Lord to walk in purity. And it was a great moment. Then we took a picture of ourselves with my camera that I'm not very good at doing. And so 10 tries later, we had a great moment recorded for us with him holding his hand with his ring on it. He decided he wanted to place his ring on his right ring finger. There's no right or wrong on this. Some people put it on their left ring finger. So wherever your child decides that they want to put that, that's their choice to be able to do. You just rejoice in the fact that they're willing to make that commitment and to make that public to the world.
That's right. Now, as you choose to do this, we're going to be using this white yarn, kind of as the temporary thing until you or your parents decide to get a purity ring. I would suggest you wear it as long as you want to.
Yeah.
It's a great conversation starter. You wear it at school, and people are like, what is that for? It's to remind me of something. Yeah, like what? And I mean, you can tell them about this experience tonight, about the fact that you had to go to church and talk about sex with your parents. Whatever it is. But it's a great, it gives you the ability to show that teens do want to do things different in our world today.
Yeah. So we would just like to go into a special time for you guys. So if I could first talk to the parents. Parents, would you please stand? Parents, you've been given such a great gift and such an incredible responsibility. But I want to remind you, you're not alone. You are God's child, and your children are His children. So He will promise to faithfully guide you as you guide them. So remember, you are not your own. You were bought with a price. So honor God with your body. Now, parents, if you would join with your children. Teens, if you'd stand. Parents, if you would take your children by the hand.
And mom and dads, as you've been blessed, it's now time for you to pass on that blessing.
Yeah.
Take your son or daughter by the hand, look them in the eye, and say their name. Now repeat after me these words straight from the heart of God. I bless you, for you are not your own. You were bought at a price. Therefore, honor God with your body. Now, as you take that yarn, as you tie that yarn on your son or daughter's finger, say whatever words you would like to, and say them as a blessing spoken over them. As you speak to them, vow to walk faithfully with them as they walk faithfully with God. Begin with the words, may God bless you.